Welcome to my video on 15 plus tips and tricks for your iPhone 6 or any other iOS 8 devices. By the way, the first few tips and tricks are only for the new iPhones, so if you don't have the new iPhone 6 or the 6 Plus, you can skip over to the 1 minute and 30-second mark of this video, and the rest are all iOS 8 tips and tricks which will work on all compatible devices. So let's go ahead and get started with this video. If you can't reach the top part of your screen on the iPhone 6 Plus or the iPhone 6, you can simply double tap on the Touch ID fingerprint sensor and the entire screen will slide down and you have access and control over the top part of the screen with one hand. Now here's a tip for recording videos. On the iPhone 6, there's no need to manually tap to focus because the iPhone 6 supports autofocus while recording videos. The next tip is for you to enable 60 frames per second video capture. So go into settings, photos and camera and you can enable 60 frames per second. By default this is at 30 frames per second, so if you want to shoot at a higher frame rate you can switch to 60. As you know, the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus is able to record 240 frames per second slow motion videos. But if you want to switch to 120 FPS, you can just simply tap on this option right here. The next tip is that you can zoom in all the icons, the text, and the overall UI of your device. Just go into settings to display and then go to display zoom, and this option will allow you to enlarge the overall user interface on your device. Alright, now let's move on to some iOS 8 tips and tricks. These will work on any iOS 8 devices. If you don't like the default iOS keyboard, you can switch to any other third-party keyboards that you can download in the App Store. My favorite one is SwiftKey. It's a free keyboard and it works really well. A really useful feature on this keyboard is that I can swipe to type different words, which makes typing much faster. And also, if you don't like this predictive feature on the iOS 8 default keyboard, you can simply hold on to the globe button and you can turn off the predictive feature. And also you can simply hide it by sliding it down. Alright, moving on to the next one. In the Messages application, you can actually record and send audio messages to your recipient. I can also easily record a video by holding on to the record button and send it to the other person. And of course also sending photos. Inside the Photos app, I get more sharing options. So if I have more social network applications downloaded, I can actually enable them and share them to these social networks. And inside the Photos app, there's also a really useful photo edit function. So we get all these filters just like iOS 7. I can also crop and tilt my images accurately. And the most important feature is that I can adjust the exposure, the highlights, the shadows, brightness, contrast, black point, and also I can adjust it to black and white. So the photo enhancement software on iOS 8 is much better than iOS 7. The next tip is that you can go into the URL bar of your browser and then slide down, and you have the option to request full desktop website. So if you don't like the mobile version of a website, now you can enable the full desktop version of that website. The next few tips are inside the notification center. Previously in iOS 7, to clear notifications, you had to clear everything at once. And now I have the option to delete one notification at a time, which can be quite useful if I still want to read them later. And inside the Today's tab, I can actually enable widgets. So right now, as you can see, I have a bunch of widgets, calendar, reminders, weather, stocks, and a few more. And the widget that I recommend is actually Yahoo Weathers. It's a really useful weather widget that you can put inside your notification center. The next one is a pretty cool trick that you can do inside the Apple Maps application. So in most major cities, you can actually enable the 3D flyover tour. So this is New York City, and I can see all the major landmarks inside this city. If you like a song but you don't know the name of it, well, now you can ask Siri. With the Shazam integration, this will recognize most songs. The next tip is quite useful for you to maintain the battery on your device. You can go into Settings, General, Usage, and Battery Usage. Here you can check out the battery usage by applications. So it tells you which application uses the most battery. By the way, inside Settings here, you also have the option to enable battery percentage. And the last tip I have for you today is inside the Notes application, I just have to tap and hold, and I have the option to insert photos. So I can insert any image onto my Notes page. So this pretty much concludes my 15 plus tips and tricks for your iOS 8 devices and your iPhone 6. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share this video on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, Instagram, wherever you want. And also be sure to follow me on these social networks. I'll put the links in the video description. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for future videos on the iPhone 6, iOS 8, and more mobile device coverage. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.